The most dangerous person in any boardroom is not the one who has never failed. It is the one who has never failed yet. And the wealthiest self-made entrepreneurs on the planet have known this quiet truth for decades, while the rest of the world kept hiring polished resumes and spotless track records. Think about that for a second. While you've been filtering out candidates the moment you see a bankruptcy, a shutdown, or a collapsed startup on their profile, the people building nine-figure empires have been circling those exact names like they found buried treasure. This is not a motivational trick. This is not feel-good content about learning from mistakes. What you are about to understand is a cold, calculated, strategic decision that separates the way wealth actually compounds from the way most people imagine it does. So why would someone who has already built millions deliberately choose a partner who once lost everything? The answer will permanently change how you evaluate people, opportunities, and risk itself. Let us start with what Silicon Valley insiders have quietly called scar tissue capital. It is not on any balance sheet. You cannot see it in a pitch deck. But the most seasoned investors will tell you that a founder who survived a real business collapse carries something no MBA program, no mentorship, and no success story can manufacture. They carry calibrated fear. Here's what that means in practice. Someone who has never failed runs on optimism without brakes. They accelerate through warning signs because nothing in their experience has taught them what a real cliff feels like. But a person who once drove a company into the ground and then got back up, they have an internal alarm system that fires at exactly the right moments. They know the specific smell of a dying cash flow before the numbers officially confirm it. They know when a team is quietly fracturing before anyone says a word. That knowledge is not theoretical, it is visceral, and it is worth millions in avoided disasters alone. Warren Buffett has spoken repeatedly about valuing managers who have been through the fire. Mark Cuban built his network deliberately around people with battle scars. Ray Dalio's entire management philosophy at Bridgewater was constructed around the idea that painful mistakes processed correctly create the sharpest decision makers alive. If you are finding this genuinely useful, right now is a great moment to hit that like button and subscribe. This channel goes deep into the real psychology and strategy behind how serious wealth is actually built, not the surface level stuff you see everywhere else. Now let us go deeper, because there is a second reason that is even more powerful than calibrated fear. It is called asymmetric loyalty. When a person who once failed finds a genuine partner who believes in them, who trusts them with real responsibility and real stakes, the psychological bond that forms is extraordinarily different from what you get when you hire someone who has always been wanted, always been recruited, always had options lined up around the block. The person who failed and was written off by most of the world and then found one person willing to bet on them again. That individual does not leave. That individual does not get quietly poached. That individual does not negotiate from entitlement. They operate from a depth of commitment that clean record hires rarely match, because the stakes feel personal in a way that a signing bonus never creates. This is not manipulation. The best partnerships built on this dynamic are genuinely mutual. The self-made millionaire is not exploiting someone's pain. They are recognizing that a rebuilt person has rebuilt values, rebuilt discipline, and rebuilt hunger that is fundamentally different from raw ambition that has never been tested. There is also a third dimension that almost nobody discusses. Failed entrepreneurs who rebuilt understand the difference between visible progress and real progress. They have sat in rooms where the numbers looked great and the company was dying. They have also sat in rooms where everything looked chaotic and the company was actually winning. That ability to read beneath the surface, to distinguish signal from noise, is one of the rarest and most valuable cognitive skills in any business environment. Most hires optimize for looking right. A person who failed once and came back optimizes for being right. That shift in orientation changes every meeting, every forecast, every product decision in ways that silently compound into enormous competitive advantages over time. Now, here is the critical nuance that the wealthiest partners always screen for. Not every failure qualifies. There is a specific kind of failure that creates value, and a specific kind that creates ongoing liability. The failure that creates value is the one the person has genuinely processed. They can tell you exactly what happened, exactly what they got wrong, exactly what they would change, and exactly how their thinking has evolved. There is no victimhood in their voice. There is no blame projected outward onto the market, the economy, or their former team. There is ownership. Clear, specific, unemotional ownership. The failure that creates liability is the one the person is still running from. They tell a vague story. They mention bad luck more than bad decisions. They have not closed the loop internally, which means they will replay the same patterns under different branding. So when you see a self-made millionaire choose a partner with a failed company in their past, understand that they spent real time listening for that distinction. They were not being charitable. They were being precise. The wealth world has always known something the employment world refuses to accept. The absence of failure is not evidence of excellence. It is often evidence of insufficient ambition, insufficient risk, or insufficient time. The most capable people attempt the hardest things. The hardest things fail more often. The math is simply not what most hiring managers pretend it is. Before you pass on the next person whose story has a chapter that went wrong, ask yourself which is more dangerous: the partner who has never fallen or the partner who fell, figured out exactly why, and decided to get back up anyway. The answer and the wealth that follows it should now be very clear. If this shifted something in how you think, subscribe right now. There is a lot more where this came from, and the next video will be just as direct about how real money actually moves.